So let me maneuver it so I'm more on screen. As you can see, I have Irwin out, and when I took him out of his enclosure, and he's shown no signs of aggression now. As you can see, when I moved my hand, he kind of took his head back, but he's honestly calmed down a lot. I think moving him into a significantly smaller enclosure has improved his mental health a lot. And when I took him out, he showed no signs of defense whatsoever. Didn't hiss, didn't strike, didn't go into what I call pissy cobra mode. He honestly seems quite relaxed. Now, I did kind of get him when he was in his hide spot snuggled up, but even then, when I took him out in situations like that before, he was quite defensive, and as you can see, he is overall quite calm now. That might be due to him being tired, but considering if he was tired, I just woke him up, he'd have every reason to be crankier than usual, and he's not. So, significant progress. I am going to try feeding him probably the end of this week. He did eat for me once. However, ever since then, he's been just way too defensive. I offer him a mouse and he will strike at it, but it's more of a defensive strike, not a grab food strike. Fortunately, he did eat for me once. He is seemingly a healthy weight, so I have no reason to be concerned, but, I still am. But he seems to be doing quite fine now. Settling in. I honestly do think that moving him to a smaller enclosure, I had him in a 4x2 by... Yeah, it's 12 inches high. Right now I have him and Sheila in a 2x1 by 16 inch high enclosure. Probably not going to be permanent. They are going to get bigger. But as of now, they both seem to be doing quite well in their smaller enclosure. Yeah, I'm moving my hand around and he's not showing any signs of defensive nature whatsoever. In fact, he's overall being somewhat of a sweetheart right now, which is a significant improvement as far as I'm concerned. So, good for you, Irwin. You're doing well. You're no longer scared. More specifically, I no longer have you scared. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I feel like I'm doing well, getting him no longer scared. I call it a snake hook. Realistically, it's a cane, but I use it as a snake hook. I did take him out doing that, but that's because the cage is very low to the ground and it's just easier. He didn't even try to strike at the cane, so I'm thinking I can probably take him out by hand now, so realistically speaking, just due to the sort of how low it's on the ground, that's going to be a little difficult, but even if he does strike, I mean, I've been bit by a lot worse. For a while, Isabella, who was a easily 7.5 foot boa constrictors that I had many, many years ago. She had what I called a pissy face, but once I took her out of the enclosure, she was absolutely fine. Saying that, Isabella did bite me many times, but it was really, okay, that's a bit of a sign, but you're not showing much aggression, that's just a bit concerned. Anyways, Isabella, the reason I got her as a baby was because she was a bit of a ditz. I got her when she was maybe about that long, give or take. Basically a hatchling. I was originally intending to get a male because they are relatively smaller, but Isabella wrapped around my wrist kind of like a bracelet, and then her tail hit her head, and she bit her own tail. I just thought that was so cute that I had to pick her up. Saying that, she was, even when she wasn't in her hissy phase, a bit of a ditz. What she will do is I'd have her wrapped around my shoulders, and then she will stretch out. And the first few times I let her did this because I didn't realize what the problem was going to be, but she'd stretch out as far as her body could support her until it could support herself no more, and then she'd flop down and kind of flail around like a fire hose. I panicked, she panicked. She'd bite my arm in panic, more as something to support herself. But then she'd immediately let go, and she was fine. Sometimes she'd bite me and I wouldn't even realize until I'd see even saying until I even saw the blood's a bit of an exaggeration. There was blood, but it was like a pinpricks. She never bit me out of defense other than when she was doing the ditzy flop around thing. And after a while, during her hissy phase, I realized the reason she was in her hissy phase is because her enclosure was too hot. I was still very much an amateur back then. Basically, in a sense, still am, but I am learning, and I got a heat gun, or it's not a heat gun, I guess a temp gun, and realized that her enclosure was just simply too hot. And now that I think of it in hindsight, I should have realized that because she was always in her cool side of the cage. Anyways, I got her temperature down and she went back to being the calm, gentle giant that she always was. Hey, Irwin. Yeah, even then, he kind of did the yes mode, but it wasn't a defense, it was just sort of a minor caution. You're calming down a lot, boy. I like it. I like it a lot. And right now he's exploratory, which is probably a good thing. Exploratory means, okay, I can safely explore. I'm not going to have to worry about getting attacked by a predator. Also, I'm moving my head around and he can see it, but he's not getting defensive. Whereas before, even just simply having my television on, he'd see the movement of the television and he wouldn't just get defensive, he'd try and strike at my TV. He's doing quite well now, which is, I guess I shouldn't be shocked, but just the fact that he went from extremely defensive to this calm in a matter of less than 24 hours, it surprises me a lot. It probably shouldn't, but it does honestly surprise me a lot. But it surprises me in a very relieved, positive way. By the way, the reason I'm doing this video now, I know I am overall acting fine, but I just got my third COVID booster shot, and my workplace knows about it, but there's no way I'm heading into work right now. I feel nauseous, but it's more belchy. I had a massive headache, but instead of taking painkillers, you may not know about this, but I use tobacco, not manufactured cigarettes, not even cigarettes as a whole, but I use tobacco because it's been proven that nicotine is a pain reliever, especially for men, and for me, it just frankly works better than a painkiller, though its side effects are probably not that good, but I'm using smokeless tobacco right now, not chew dip, but it honestly does work. My headache is still there, but it's significantly less. Saying that, the only smokeless tobacco I have is nasal snuff, which works immediately but doesn't last, and dip, which lasts longer, but for the beginning anyways, you're required to spit, and I don't really like to spit. I usually use snus where you don't have to spit, but that snus is expensive. I live in Canada, and the place where I get my snus, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get hit by customs, where the place I can recently, as in the last time I picked this up, found out, I can get this at this website. Now it's usually where I get up my pipe tobacco, but where I get my dip, there's a very good chance it's not going to get hit by customs, and this time it didn't, so I'm thinking my pipe tobacco did. Even then, when it does get hit by customs, they're still, even with shipping, paying less than you would if you were to buy it in Canada, which is kind of a shame. I want to support local business, but anyways, it's cheaper even if you do get hit by customs, and you get a better variety. Anyways, I am rambling about tobacco, which is, while I do have it both on my Rumble and my YouTube channel, if you're watching this video, you probably don't give a damn, so I'm gonna have to shut up now. Yeah, you're not even defensive right now. This is a significant improvement. I'm not so much proud of myself, I'm proud of Irwin for calming down so well and so quickly. Still a young one, but when I got Irwin, this is obviously last year's clutch, maybe 2020, but I have my doubts. Anyways, he is a lot older than I anticipated. I was honestly expecting a hatchling. I am going to... Yeah, I just moved my hand right in front of Irwin and he didn't even get defensive at all. This is honestly quite a relief. Now, bear in mind, even though the last time I handled him, which was yesterday and maybe before that, I left him alone in his enclosure for the better part of a week. And the enclosure is in... Technically, it's supposed to be my bedroom, but I use it more as an office. So there's not much foot traffic, but even when I was going in and out of the office, I will just hear him strike. As though it didn't happen that often, if for no other reason than I wasn't going in and out of there much. So he was basically left alone for the better part of a week. Tried feeding him, what was it, Saturday or Sunday, and he was simply too defensive. But now, yeah, he moved his head away, but he didn't get into defensive mode when I actually did. You get... No, you didn't. No, he is a lot calmer than I'm giving him credit for it, too. He's still, he's moving his head back, but he's not exactly extremely scared. I'm pleased with you, Irwin. You're doing quite well. Also, his tongue, even when I did have him out and he was, I'm not even going to say calming down, he was nervously not defensive, but still looking for whatever was attacking him. His tongue was flicking all the time. Right now, it's just normal. Yeah, it is easily within strike shot of him. He could easily bite me right now. In fact, before he would have instantly not just gone into defensive mode, but hissed. He is doing quite well. He's actually doing better than when I first started this video, which is why I haven't even ended it, and it's over 18 minutes long now. You are doing well, Irwin. Anyways, yeah, I am honestly not even pleased. I am relieved and pleased. So, as much as I'd love to show off Irwin, I am going to need this video before I ramble on even further. Let's be honest, this entire video has been a ramble. Hoping you don't mind. Yeah, he is. I'm hesitant to say he is on friendly terms now, but he is seemingly on friendly terms now. And I am going to end the video now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care and bye. Bye.